Hi everyone, today I am giving you information on the topic monocular cues. So let's move to its description. The word monocular means it is related to the one eye only. Those people who do not have two eyes, how they can perceive the world. It is the importance of monocular cues. So monocular cues are all the ways that a single eye help you to see and process what you are looking at. So in this case, the brain is equally functioning with the eye. So that's why we are able to observe with the single eye only which things we are supposed to perceive with the both eyes. Cues of a depth can be detected by one eye instead of two. Molecular cues plays a huge role in how you perceive the world around you. Next one is monocular cues refer to the ways that each eye or takes in the visual information that is used to judge. So these things are very important. Distance, the distance at which anything is placed. Depth, how deep the thing is. For example, a well, a swimming pool. Next one, three-dimensional space, how it is present in a three-dimensional space, how it needs to be perceived in a three-dimensional space, because the person do not have that ability, do not have both eyes to perceive it, but how our brain can interpret it. This is the monocular cues. With monocular cues, images are interpreted as a two-dimensional by playing with the foreground and background. Now we will just take in consider the foreground of an image or the background of an image of the 2D images and make them 3D images so that it can be perceived by those people who have only one eye. Next one, for example, size is a monocular cue. So we have the different types of monocular cues. One doesn't need two eyes to tell how large the object is. For example, size is related to the large or small. It doesn't need two eyes to tell how the large an object is because of its size and how close it perceives to be. Okay, so let's see one by one. Types of monocular cues. First one is pictorial, second one is motion. The pictorial, these all things come under pictorial. First one is the relative size, interposition, linear perspective, aerial perspective, light and shade, texture gradient. Next one is haze, and in case of motion it is a motion parallax. Pictorial and motion cues. First one is pictorial. These are in the form of static pictures. Okay, so there are the static pictures with static means not moving, which are in case of stationary pictures. They are used by an artist to induce depth in the two-dimensional paintings. So as we all know that the paintings are always two-dimensional. On a sheet of paper these are drawn, but to give the 3D effect they just touch the foreground or the background of these things. It actually applies in our daily life also. Next one is motion. Motion means in which the movement of an object is seen. So different shades, different things are created in the paintings due to which the motion of the things is seen. Relative size. So first one is the relative size. The monocular cue give you the ability to measure how far away the something is. How far or how nearby the object is, we will get to know it by using the relative size. It works by judging how big or small the object is and what that means in relation to the other object you have interacted in the past. First one is, if the things are smaller then they are appear to be far. If the things are appear to be far then these are small. If the things are appear to be near, these are big. For example, let's see a picture in which if you can see this animal, it appears to be bigger in size as compared to those which are standing at the far away. It is possible that the size of this animal is big as compared to this one, but the object which appears to be closer to our eyes appears to be big, and which is far away from the eyes appear to be small. Okay, so this is the importance of relative size. Next one is interposition. Interposition basically means overlapping. When one thing get overlapped to the another object, then it means interposition. So we will get to know the distance, that how far away is it, which one is at the front and which one is the at the distance. Interposition refers to what happens when the two objects on a flat surface. Now here the two objects are always on a flat surface, like a drawing in which, let's see an example. This is a drawing in which the parachutes are seen here. Okay, there are the 4 parachutes and this parachute is overlapping on this parachute. Okay, so we will get to know that this parachute is far away and this one is at the front. If we compare these two, this one is 1 and this is 2, so 1 is at the closer to our eyes and 2 is at the distance from our eyes. So in the same way, if we can compare the 2 or 3, so 2 is again in front of the eyes or closer to the eyes as compared to the 3. And next one, the size of this appears to be very small as compared to the 3 of them, so the 4 one is very much distance from our the eyes. So in this way, the distance, according to the distance, we interpret that which thing is closer to our eyes and which thing is far away from the eyes. Okay, next one is linear perspective. Linear perspective happens when the angles of the two adjacent objects and the distance between them look smaller and smaller. This causes your eye to interpret those objects as increasingly farther away to you. Now if you can see the railway tracks, these are the railway tracks. Okay, now the angle between these two which are closer to our eyes is very big as compared to the angle between those two which are far away from the eyes. This angle is very small, so smaller angle interpret that these are very far away to us, and bigger angle interpret that these are very close to our eyes. This same case takes place in case of road. Next one is aerial perspective. It makes the object look a bit blurrier and lighter in color and less details for those closer to you. So let us take an example. The mountains which are appear nearby. So these mountains are nearby as compared to these mountains. Okay, so these looks blurrier as compared to this one, and the grassland looks clear as compared to this, because this is at the near and this one is at the distance. Okay, so distance things appear to be blurrier always and the near things appears to be clear. Now the contrast plays an important role in these things. Objects which are farther away tend to have rough. Those things which are farther away, they have a rough surface, blurry edges, and we are not be able to see clearly and the fine details. But the things which are closer to us, we can easily find the defined edges. Easily the defined edges are seen, proper shapes are seen, and the clarity is more in case of nearby objects. Okay. Next one is big objects like mountains and grassland seem bigger and clear when the air is clean, because there are fewer particles to scatter the light, but these are not that much clear, so that we will see the details of them. This is the role of contrast. Next one is light and shade. The way that light hit an object creates shades of light and dark. Okay, so how the light falls on an object, it is depend upon that. This tells your eyes where the object sits in relation to the light and two objects nearby. Okay, so let's see. These are the three balls which are drawn by someone. So the darker shades are at the downside, which means the light is coming from the upwards. Because of the light reflection, this become light in shade and down becomes darker in shade, and the distance of this is much less as compared to the ground level. The distance of this is more than this, and the distance of this is very much upside as compared to the ground level because of the shade. This shade is lighter, this shade is dark, and this shade is darker. Okay, so according to the light shades and the shadows, we perceive that how much above the object is from the baseline or the ground. Next one is texture gradient. Texture gradient is a depth perception cue where the perceived detail and the density of a surface texture change with the distance. As the distance changes, the texture gradient gets changes. More coarse, fine, distinct features, patterns, we can clearly finer things we can easily see when the things are present at the nearby. As they moves to the distance, so we are not be able to find those much finer details. Okay, it seems to be compressed. So the example of the drought is seen here. You can easily see the texture of each and every flat surface, or you can say the particle. It is a natural condition in which when the rainfall doesn't takes place for a lot of years, then drought takes place. So the sand or the land gets broken into a different pieces because there is a lack of water. So if you can see the finer details, you can easily see because these are closer to our eyes, and this needs to be condensed things are seen here. We are not be able to interpret the finer details. Okay, next one is haze. It makes the object look blurrier, lighter in color and less detail a distance than in near. So if you can see an example, the mountains which are seen at the distance are appears to be very blurrier, or you can say haze, as compared to the mountain which is much closer to us. So this is a role of haze. So if you can see the road here, it will be look like haze and it will not be looks clear because it is at the distance as compared to the road which is at the near one. Next one is motion parallax. The monocular motion parallax happens when you are traveling. Okay, let us see an example. In this case, the person is traveling, it is sitting at the window, and this one is the movement of the observer. So the things which are near get passed away very easily. So these things are present at the near, they get passed away very easily and very soon, and those things which are present at the distance, they will move very at the very slow speed as compared to the near ones. So this was the motion parallax. It is appeared and the images are seen to be in the opposite direction when you are traveling and moves at a very slow speed. This was the end. Thanks for your patience listening.